We are here in the Brooklyn Navy Yard near the Dumbo neighborhood, right outside the offices of Wool&Prince. They're a startup that had a successful Kickstarter campaign for these cool wool shirts. They're expanding into other types of clothing, which we're going to get to see, and then we're going to talk to the founder, Mac Bishop, about why he's built in Brooklyn.
Wool&Prince is an online men's apparel brand, and we specialize in making wool apparel and accessories. Wool is a more functional fiber, actually, than what's out there on the market compared to cotton and polyester. My family actually owns a woolen mill in Portland, Oregon, so I've grown up accustomed to wool and familiar with the functional properties of wool. I was working at Unilever wearing the corporate giddy-up, Brooks Brothers button-down, that kind of thing. Was going to the dry cleaners a lot. Was probably spending $10 to $15 a week on dry cleaning. I started wearing some older vintage wool button-downs into work. People complimented me on them. They looked a little different, and I did not go to the dry cleaners once with those old vintage shirts. But they were a little off in terms of how they looked compared to the normal corporate button-down. So that was really the start of the idea of Wool&Prince. And then initially, I did a bunch of tests with about 15 different wear testers. Most of them were my friends around the country in different climates, guys who were traveling around the world, guys who had corporate jobs, bankers. So a really diverse group of people wearing the wool shirts that were already out there on the market, and how we can make them better was a big question that we were asking ourselves. There's kind of a stigma around wool. I don't know if it's because of grandma knitting people's sweaters or what, but people are accustomed to saying, oh yeah, wool's itchy. When you get down to the really fine fibers, it's very soft, and actually some people say it's softer than cotton or silk. There are actually 4 attributes that we like to talk about. It's more durable than the alternatives out there. It's actually 6 times more durable than cotton. The scientists have proved that. Essentially, they took a fiber of cotton versus wool and basically just bent it back and forth in like the nano scale. It's odor resistant, wrinkle resistant, and more breathable. There's 2 types of wool shirts out there. There's the flannel lumberjack type wool shirt, and I couldn't give you exact numbers on it, but I would say that's like 85% of the market is the stuff that you think of when you hear lumberjack. The other wool shirt that's out there is a fine worsted wool shirt, something similar to our shirt. Right now, those shirts on the market are designed for an older customer mostly, whereas our shirt has the slim fit, the contemporary patterns that the younger generation is looking for with those shirts. We're really the first company that's solely focused on the young professional.
Hey Kickstarter, my name's Mac, and I'm launching a fashion brand called Wool&Prince.
With the first Kickstarter campaign, it was just kind of a proof of concept. We had some sample fabrics that we were testing, and so we wanted to go out to the consumers and basically say, this is the concept, these are the functional benefits of a wool shirt, what do you think? It greatly exceeded our expectations. We ended up selling 3,000 shirts to the tune of $315,000 on Kickstarter, and we actually capped it. It got a little too crazy. The media took a hold of it and started calling me an inventor of wool. They started calling the shirt a miracle shirt, the no wash shirt, the never clean shirt, and so we got a little worried in terms of expectations for the shirt. My business partner, Katie, she does all the sourcing and design. For button downs, it's done in Shanghai. The wool comes from Australia. We're experimenting with some made in USA options as well. We have some shorts coming out. The wool comes from Japan, and then they're actually sewn here in the garment district in New York City.
Did you sort of make a conscious choice that you were going to be based in Brooklyn?
Yes. Brooklyn is just an incredible place in terms of creativity. Katie lives in Brooklyn. I'm planning on moving to Brooklyn. The energy is great over here, especially in this space. It's very industrial, but there's just a ton of creative people. So this is the Pratt Incubator. We were actually accepted into the Pratt Accelerator, which is under construction right now. And so in the meantime, we're based out of the incubator here. But before we moved in here, we were in downtown Brooklyn. Before that, I was working out of co-working spots or coffee shops or libraries in New York City.
So what is your favorite spot in Brooklyn?
That's a good question. Favorite spot in Brooklyn is probably the Brooklyn Bridge when it's not during 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And coming over the Brooklyn Bridge when it's raining is awesome because there's no tourists. You know, our bread and butter is always going to be the button down. It's really the point of differentiation. There's not really a button down on the market like ours. We just launched polos and t-shirts in our second Kickstarter. So that's a really fine merino knit t-shirt.
Can you think of a clothing item that you will definitely not make out of wool at some point?
No, we've got underwear. We've got underwear in the works. Like, we're going everything.